Wow. Lee Junho and Yoona. The sweet gesture that shocked the Consumer Awards in Seoul. The question did not begin online. It did not begin with fan edits or slow-motion replays or speculative captions. It began in the room itself, inside the bright, polished hall of the Consumer Awards in Seoul, a ceremony known for its precision, elegance, and strict professionalism. So why, on this particular night, did the entire room fall silent? Why did hundreds of eyes turn toward the same moment? Why did journalists freeze with their cameras halfway raised? Why did even the award presenters pause mid-step, their attention locked on the stage? Hold on tight, KDrama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Because something happened, a gesture, small yet unmistakably warm, the kind of gesture that only happens when two people have a history far deeper than what the public has been allowed to see. It was not a scandal. It was not dramatic in a reckless way. It was simply unexpected. Let us start at the beginning. The hall was glowing under soft golden lights, the kind that make every polished award statue gleam like a jewel. Stars of every tier lined the long tables, greeting one another, exchanging light bows and polite smiles. Flashbulbs flickered like electric rain across the velvet carpet. It was a night built on elegance, controlled, refined, predictable. And then the predictability shattered. When Lee Junho and Yoona arrived, something shifted. Not loudly. Not theatrically. But enough that even veteran reporters leaned forward. The two arrived separately yet carried the same calm confidence, as though they had rehearsed their timing without ever speaking about it. They walked with the poise of seasoned performers, but there was something else, an energy between them that the cameras picked up instantly. It was professional, respectful, but undeniably strong. A shared rhythm. A shared understanding. Their seats were placed side by side, a decision made by the organizers days before, but interpreted by the entire hall as destiny revealing itself. As the ceremony unfolded, the tension built quietly. The audience sensed it first, not a romantic tension, but a sense of anticipation, as though everyone knew something remarkable was about to occur. Then came the moment. Yoona's name was called. The applause rose like a wave. She stood, graceful and composed, crossing the stage with her signature elegance. Junho applauded her with the polite professionalism expected of an actor of his caliber. But his reaction carried something extra, a tiny, barely noticeable softness around his eyes, something genuine, something warm. Yoona accepted her award with poised confidence. She thanked her team, the organizers, and the fans. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing that hinted at the storm that was seconds away from erupting. Then she returned to her seat. As she approached, Junho rose slightly from his chair, not fully standing, not officially bowing, but enough that it caught the attention of every single witness. And in that single movement, the atmosphere changed. Here is what happened next, the moment now being replayed around the world. Yoona stepped closer. Junho leaned in, offering a respectful, congratulatory gesture, a traditional cheek-side greeting, the kind often seen between colleagues in international award circuits. It was polite. It was appropriate. It was brief. Yet the room exploded. Not in sound, but in emotion. Fans gasped. Journalists snapped their cameras in rapid succession. The audience leaned forward as if pulled by invisible wires. It was not a kiss. It was not intimate. It was a public, professional sign of respect. But because it happened between Lee Junho and Yoona, two stars with a history of on-screen chemistry so powerful that audiences still debate where fiction ends and reality begins, the gesture became massive. Far larger than the two of them likely intended. Everything after that moment became a blur. Yoona smiled politely and took her seat. Junho returned to his calm posture. The ceremony continued. But the audience did not. They whispered. They speculated. They replayed the moment in their minds, wondering whether they had just witnessed something extraordinary or simply overreacted to a polite greeting between colleagues. The camera zoomed in on their expressions. The comment sections exploded. The editing communities began working in real time, clipping, slowing, analyzing. And while the world repeated the question, was this a sign? Something far more interesting was happening behind the scenes. Yoona remained composed, as she always does. Junho kept his posture steady, as he always does. But in the few seconds following the gesture, a tiny shift occurred in the room. Their interaction, though small, forced the industry to confront something long avoided, the undeniable connection between two stars whose presence together always seems to ignite conversation. Not because of scandal. Not because of rumor. But because of a synergy so strong that even a harmless gesture feels cinematic. The ceremony ended. The stars exited the hall. But the moment did not fade. Instead, it grew. Articles were drafted before the night even ended. Fan compilations rose by the hundreds. Media outlets scrambled for statements. Agencies monitored the conversations quietly. And by sunrise, the entire region was buzzing with one headline: what was the meaning behind that sweet gesture? The answer, for now, remains simple: it was respect. It was admiration. It was professionalism wrapped in elegance. But the impact? That part is far more dramatic. The morning after the Consumer Awards in Seoul did not begin slowly. There was no gentle sunrise, no gradual shift into news cycles, no steady transition from night to day. Instead, the city woke up as though it had been shaken awake by a single, undeniable revelation. Every major entertainment outlet opened with the same headline. Every fan group was discussing the same scene. Every trending list on every platform featured one moment. The gesture. It had been only a few seconds long, but the world treated it like a full-length drama episode. And as dawn settled over the city, it became clear that nothing, absolutely nothing, could stop the momentum that was building. Before the industry could even decide what narrative to adopt, the public had already chosen one. Something had changed between Junho and Yoona. Not in a romantic sense, but in the way two major stars could shift the atmosphere of an entire event with a single, respectful exchange. But what fascinated the world even more was the silence. Neither Junho's agency nor Yoona's team released statements. No denials. No clarifications. No interviews breaking down the moment. Just silence. And sometimes silence speaks louder than any answer. Fans, unable to sit still, began dissecting every angle of the gesture. They compared high-definition stage cameras with fan-captured footage. They debated posture, timing, positioning. They slowed the moment down to fractions of seconds, as though studying the fall of a comet. The fan theories multiplied. Some said Junho's gesture was instinctive, a gentlemanly reflex from years of experience on international red carpets. Others believed Yoona's slight lean toward him showed trust built over years of collaboration and shared stages. And a smaller group insisted that it was simply an exaggerated reaction to a deeply respectful, culturally appropriate greeting. But the truth was far more complex, buried deeper than any fan theory could reach. Behind the scenes, the industry itself was in motion. In a tall conference room overlooking Seoul, executives from multiple networks were already discussing the implications. Junho and Yoona were not just actors. They were brands with influence powerful enough to shift public sentiment in minutes. Their synergy had become a phenomenon long before this night. The Consumer Awards moment only sharpened what the industry had quietly known for years: when they appear together, the world pays attention. And attention, in the entertainment industry, is currency. Soon, production companies began making calls. Advertisers started brainstorming campaigns. Variety show directors reviewed past footage of the two together. There was even talk, whispered but not dismissed, of pairing them again in a major project, something ambitious, something strategic, something that could harness this sudden wave of public fascination. Meanwhile, inside their respective agencies, the atmosphere was far different. Yoona's management gathered in a quiet boardroom late in the morning. They watched the clip several times, each viewing raising new questions. Was the gesture too intimate? No. Was it inappropriate? No. Was it stirring the public in a way they should be concerned about? Yes, but not negatively. The conclusion was simple: let the moment breathe. Let the audience talk. Let the gesture stand on its own. Across the river, Junho's team had reached a similar decision. They analyzed every camera angle, confirming that the gesture remained within the bounds of professionalism. Their concern was not the moment itself, but the overwhelming public reaction.